So, another day, another appointment. I just went up to radiology because late yesterday afternoon I got rung and asked if I could come in for a 2:30 appointment, and I was fairly certain that it wasn't necessarily to say conclusively that I was about to do something, and it wasn't. So I just had a big talk to my radiation oncologist, and yep, she's basically said she doesn't have enough information, which I already knew, whether I need radiation or not to try and stop this bulge in my arteries, or whether it's a clot or something else. And my scan that I had done, when was that? Everything's blurring in. So I'd got a scan done on Friday, and my arms had to be down for that, but all my previous scans, my arms have been up above my head, and they think that if they do the scan again with my arms up above the head, then they might get a clearer image. So tomorrow I have to go in for another scan. Last week's cost $700, but I got most of that back with the rebate, so that was good. But then I was just told that this one's going to cost $900, but I might get $500 back. But she knew that I had the rebate, so now I'm like, oh, is this one more expensive? But we'll find out tomorrow. And I'm only documenting that just, I guess, yeah, just to give you a real glimpse into what it's like with the costs, even going private. I mean, I guess I could go public, but that has its own, yeah, list of challenges. And so far I've been very happy with everything in the private system, except of course for all the costs. And it wouldn't matter if I was going public anyway. Like, the drug that I want to access will still be only available to breast cancer patients, so it doesn't matter that I've got a gene that matches, that, you know, it makes sense that it is a reasonable drug to try. I wouldn't get funding for it. So yeah, just mention that just so people realize that, yeah, there's this whole world of so many things to think about with the cancer journey. So basically it's just more waiting, and this x-ray will hopefully show whether I should do more radiation or whether it's just a clot that's going to disappear with the clot medication that I started taking yesterday, or whatever. But yep, it's just one thing to the next until we find out what to do. But the thing that I did ask was, is it dangerous, like the whole bulgy artery thing? Like, or is it just a discomfort? And she's like, no, it could be dangerous if it's pressing on the bigger of a artery and they just can't see. So if it's dangerous, then for sure we need to get something done. And still trying to work out whether I go on the Piqray medication or, yep, I just need to find out whether I'm doing radiation, and then whether I'm allowed to go on the trial with that radiation, or whether I'm going to have to, if I'm going to have to wait, then I may as well go on Piqray. So anyway, that's this afternoon's adventure. And I've had Alex pick up children, but I've got to go and drop my daughter to gymnastics soon, I think. Cannula. I hate cannulas. I have a little bit of anxiety about them actually. But this one, they tried to use my my elbow, like behind me at my elbow, which is where they normally use. But yeah, didn't work. But then they tried this one and it worked really well, so that was good and didn't hurt when the contrast went in for the CT, which sometimes will. Hurts a lot more for pets though, I think. Maybe because it didn't hurt last Friday either. Anyway, waiting to get the cannula out. Commenting on after that cannula, by the way, that cannula that I said went in easy still created a really impressive bruise there. Not as impressive one from the other night. Look at this one. That's a doozy. Had that scan, waited then to hear from my doctor, my radiation oncologist. then called me in to let me know that it was a clot. So I needed to come in, and she went through things with me. She'd been talking with my oncologist, and thankfully my oncologist had identified that perhaps it could have been a clot. So when he did that, he put me on some medication for that, blood thinners. So I had been taking that, so that's good because that would have helped things. So I have a clot in behind where my port is, and my radiation oncologist filled me in about that, but I go into more detail telling the children about that later on in the afternoon. So I thought that would be a novel way to tell, and it also kind of just shows how I can approach talking to the children about cancer stuff, because things are popping up all the time, and it's a lot better for a family when they know what's going on as well, and then we can just be open and honest with cancer stuff. Like you saw me the other day when I had just first got the news, and when you first get bad news, it's like, yeah, you might have some tears and it all feels really heavy and it's pretty tough. But I mean, we've been doing cancer for a fair while, so 6 years now. You kind of just identify, okay, this is what I need to do, and then you just kind of get on with doing it. And anyway, so this is the way I talk to the kids about stuff. And yep, since then I've been on the anti-clotting medication. It doesn't break it down. So I'm just waiting for my body to break that down and praying that it will happen quickly. So you know how I've been getting all the scans, and did you know that I did a scan yesterday? No? So remember on Friday I had a scan, and in that scan we saw that there was cancer growth. But remember my veins that have been really bulging and protruding and everything? So from that scan they could see that there was cancer, but they couldn't tell whether the cancer was squeezing a vein that would be making my veins in my neck pop out. So they sent me for so they made me take 3 more medicines on Monday in case it was a clot, or in case it was fluids. And as well, I was already taking steroids, which is why I've been sleeping in the morning, because the steroids keep waking me up at night for several hours. And yesterday I had to go and get, Monday I got more medicine. Tuesday I had to go and see the radiation oncologist in case I got more radiation oncology. And then she said, we need another scan. So the first scan, my arms had to be by my side. And then they're like, we can't tell properly because all your other scans, your arms were up above your head. And so we want another scan with your arms up above your head. So I did that yesterday, and then I had to go back to the radiation oncologist today, and from that scan they've seen that I've got a blood clot. A blood clot is, actually that's a good question because I don't know how exactly to explain it. It's where, like, they can actually be really dangerous. So it's where like your blood all starts clotting in your arteries, and that if it's clotting, like, you know, like clotted cream and where it gets thick. So if your blood gets all thick, then it can't pump the blood properly through your body, and your body can shut down. So luckily I've been on blood thinners, which will prevent further clotting, but apparently you can't do anything about the clot but just wait for it to break down itself. But there's a clot in the middle of my chest there, so we'll just wait for that to break down and keep on blood thinners. I'm probably going to have to keep on blood thinners for ages so that clots don't keep happening. But at least I think at least I'm not having to do radiation straight away, and we'll keep holding out probably to do the trial if the trial comes in about 2 weeks or so, or otherwise we might try the expensive medicine if the trial's not coming. So that's the latest update and plan. Does that sound clear?
Yeah.
Yeah? Everyone? No questions? No, well, I was just updating you, and I thought I would update the camera at the same time. And it's also a way, like, if people are new to the cancer journey and they don't really know how it works, like how you talk to your kids, this is just, you know, you guys are 11 and 17. We don't have the 13-year-old in the car, but this is just the way you talk to your kids about cancer, because some people get a little bit, probably get overwhelmed, and how do we talk to our kids? And hopefully this can also show you're just honest and real, and yeah, like you're honest and real, and if it's a bit scary, it's a bit scary, but we don't get hugely scared or whatever, do we? We just kind of, yeah, sometimes it feels a lot more scarier. Like last week felt scarier than this week. But I was feeling a lot better on Tuesday night after I got back from the information evening. And I've made that like lamb shanks and everything, and I was like, I think I'm feeling better. So I thought that perhaps it wasn't the arteries being restricted.
Cool.
So yep, that's it.
Yeah.